So, this is where things get harder to listen to. And I want to give this warning up front because this is where there's no we, I start talking about her murder and things can get graphic. I'm going to play the 911 call. I'm going to talk about domestic violence and predators, and so this is the time to turn back. I want to give the warning up front because it's not the most pleasant stuff in the world. So that's all I have to say. So this brings us to that day, and I don't think that I'm going to get through it without crying, but we'll see. I'm trying. So the day that I got the phone call about Cypress, the girls had gotten a message that Cypress had been hurt. Cypress was hurt. And, a couple of them live close to her, so one or two of them, I know for sure one of them, I'm not sure about any others, but I know for sure that one of them went over to where she was to check on it, and it might have taken her a few minutes to get over there because, Cypress is hurt, so, quote unquote, so, it's not like, it might not have been a total panic, but I don't know the exact details about that. I mean, we're talking about 20 minutes or something, very short period of time. The phone call that I got was after that sister had gotten over there, found out what was really going on, had notified her mom and the other sisters. Then one of the twins called me hysterical on the phone, and it's like from one end of the town to the other end of the town, which is, like, if you don't get stopped at the red light, you could be there in 2 minutes. If you get stopped at two red lights, then it could take maybe 5 minutes, that kind of trip. And I'm not sure how much they would have cared about red lights. They might, you know what I mean? So anyway, so she called me hysterical and said, "Mom, Cypress is dead." And I said, "What? Where?" I mean, it's just, you don't comprehend a call like that. And I'm thinking there's been a car accident, or because she walks everywhere, she's been hit by a car and I need to go to a hospital. That's what I'm thinking, that I need or maybe I need to go pick up, because not all of the girls had, they're all like working moms and all of that. So, sometimes they don't all have working vehicles. So I'm sitting here thinking, I might need to go to Ridgeland to pick up some of the girls and take them to our trauma center here, or, I'm like processing all of this stuff in split second time. And I said, "Where was she taken?" I mean, it's, and she said, "No, Mama, she's dead. She's dead. Go to the Forest. She's at the Forest Motel." And I screamed, "What? What?" And she said, "Mama, he shot her. He shot her." And she never calls me Mama, but that is her. That was her hysteria at that moment. It was just, So I jumped on Facebook and I messaged my mom, and real fast. And as I went in and I woke up my husband, who had to work that night, and he worked the night before, and said, Cypress has been murdered. I have to go to Ridgeland. And I didn't worry about a shower. I had not gotten dressed yet. I mean, honestly, it was noon and I wasn't dressed yet, and whatever. Um, I am throwing on clothes, and I've got my phone on speaker, and I call my daughter Jennifer, who lives and works in Ridgeland. And I was terrified that somebody would come into, because everybody knows our daughter's connection to them, and I was terrified that somebody was going to walk into her work and tell her what happened before she heard it from me or heard it from one of them. I didn't want a customer to walk in and say something to her. So I called her, and thank God she answered her phone, and I told her what had happened, and she she reacted the same way I did. She couldn't leave work. I mean, she was at work, but thank God, because I didn't want her to see what I saw. And then our daughter in Texas, I called because I didn't want it to go up on Facebook and her to see it on Facebook, because I knew that people were going to start posting on Cypress's Facebook page. And I didn't want her to get a notification that way, and she was at work, but I sent her a message that said, call me right now. So, and she did, and I told her, and she lost it at work. And at this point, I'm dressed, and I get in the car, and I drive to Ridgeland, and I get to the Forest Hotel, and there's crime scene tape, and there's police, and I see two of the girls, and I just walked up, and they just fell in my arms. And I really didn't believe that it was true. I really thought that somebody was going to tell me it was somebody else. That it was all a mistake. But I knew at that moment it really was her in there. And then I asked him where the other girls were. And I went walking up towards the room. And I ran into two more girls. I ran into one girl. And she had just cut her hair, and I didn't even recognize her. And gave her a big hug. And then I ran into two more girls, and they just collapsed in my arms, and we just bawled. We stood there for 2 or 3 minutes and just bawled. I mean, what do you do? And then I heard the doors of the coroner's van shut. And oh my God. I mean, How? I mean, how? How can somebody look at a 16-year-old girl and decide to take them away from this world? How? I don't understand. He looked at her and shot her in the forehead. I don't understand. And I still can't say much. I'm going to share a couple of newspaper articles. And as I said, the 911 call got released yesterday morning. And it's him that called 911. And in that tape, he starts trying to make up a story to cover his tracks. And his story, or where he tries to throw shade, is onto one of her sisters. And that hurts. Oh my God, that hurts so much. Because, here's the thing about them. They're sisters, so they fight. I mean, I'm not talking about like fist fighting. They fight. I think the worst that I've seen them do is like throw food at each other. But sisters fight. That's what they do. But, there could be 2 or 3 of them fighting with each other at any given time, not speaking to each other. But if you've got 3 of them fighting, and then you go and mess with one of them, one of them that's in that fight and 2 of them are mad at them, you've still got all of them on your butt. There's no way that any of them would ever hurt one of them. So I knew we knew right away, we had heard right away what he had said, but actually hearing the 911 call and hearing it come out of his mouth yesterday, and hearing all of the fake, oh my God, I just found my girlfriend. It was hard. It was hard. Yesterday was a hard day. And the thing about losing somebody is every time you think that you don't have any more tears, I keep thinking I'm going to be able to record a video and I'm okay, everything's good, and then surprise, it ain't good. Because I'm trying to do this without any tears and it's just not working out for me. And I guess like the worst thing is about the whole YouTube thing is I wish that I could use her music, but we can't. So I have to be able to play her music over when I have her pictures going, but I can't because I'll get a copyright strike and then have to redo that part. And I don't, The other thing is, I'm going to use the 911 call, and I'm going to use the interview that WJCL did, and of the girls after a few weeks after this happened, and hope that I don't get a copyright strike on those. But I hope not, because I'm talking about my daughter. So, you know, I'm gonna throw up some more pictures of Cypress, and I'll be back.
And where the investigation stands, Alex.
Well, Riley, this Saturday was supposed to be the 17th birthday for one Jasper County teenager, but the family now says that has simply become a day for remembrance.
A sister's bond in Jasper County is broken.
And she had her own individually bond with everybody.
On Labor Day weekend, the family of 16-year-old Cypress Noonan received calls that would change their lives forever.
Call saying that Cypress was not okay, but I didn't get the extent of what happened until 20 or 30 minutes later.
Their sister found dead at a motel in Ridgeland, the Jasper County Coroner's Office confirming she died of a gunshot wound. And her death now an active investigation with the State Law Enforcement Division, being treated at the moment as a possible homicide.
Tearing us up.
Why?
We don't know why. Like in all reality, why?
Yeah,
That's
why?
why? Why would you take such a innocent person Somebody do that? How could somebody look at her and do that?
The pain is so great, her mother unable to talk to WJCL 22 News with the rest of the family. And her family says their grief will only continue until more answers come.
I haven't been able to go back to work. I haven't, because how can you? Cypress used to come to my job and stand in my job and just talk to me. This is a small town, and this is where we're from. This is where we were raised.
Right in the car. Yeah, there's memories all over this town.
And in a call with SLED today, they say that their investigators are still working with local law enforcement in the area on the case. From Ridgeland tonight, I'm Alex Hales for WJCL 22 News. Back to you.
Okay, so a little bit of background about Ridgeland, related to the 911 call I just played. Ridgeland has what they call hotels, but they're really studio apartments and one-bedroom apartments and stuff. So, Cypress was at the Forest Motel, and then her sister was at the, I'm so sorry, was at the Siesta Motel, which, there wasn't even a road separating them. It was a fence, and they could, hand stuff to each other over the fence. I mean, that close. And then across the street, another sister was staying, and then down the road was another sister. So, they're all in this little group. But like I said, they call them hotels. They aren't hotels. They're apartments. The people that are there have been there, a lot of them for years, many of them for months and months. I think they charge, it's not like the hourly rate kind of place, but, I think most of the people pay either a weekly rate or they pay a monthly rate. So, first thing he says after he's done with his little fake hysterics is, the dispatcher gives him an out and says, when she says, "Do you know who did it?" And he all of a sudden is calm and says, "No, but I know she got into it with her sister and another girl over at the Siesta." It's amazing how you can instantly calm down from being totally hysterical about finding your girlfriend shot in the head when you've just come back. But, yeah. So then the next thing that he throws out there is, everybody knows that we've been dating for 8 months. Yeah, well, nobody was allowed to know that. That was not something that, she wasn't. If they were dating, she was not allowed to say that they were dating. He has a girlfriend. and it was not Cypress. So, but he makes sure that he gets that in the 911 call. Everybody knows that we've been dating for 8 months, and they were not. So, that's the other thing. But, all of a sudden now, that's his girlfriend. There was a lot to that 911 call that just thrilled us to death. But like I said, what angered me the most, we knew, I knew when Raven called me, Raven said he shot her. We knew. And then I knew when I got to the hotel and said, what happened? I don't understand what happened. And she said, he's the one that called 911. And then I think it was a little while later when we were at her sister's house, that we got like a little bit more information that came out. And or maybe it was a couple days later, I don't know. I mean, those first few days are just a blur. They're just a complete blur. But I know that it was within that day or the next couple days that we found out that he had tried to put the blame on one of the girls. And that was, that was maddening. I mean, that just so incredibly angry about that. I cannot even tell you. So I just wanted to, the 911 call can be a little bit hard to understand. I was around all of these kids forever. So, and being around the fire service, I guess, helped. But, I'm used to hearing them talk, and I'm used to 911 calls anyway. So, so I was making it easier for you all to understand, I guess, is what I'm saying. But that's the story about the 911 call. And that's that.
Jasper County 911, which emergency?
My girlfriend.
What's going on?
My girlfriend. I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida, hotel in Richmond.
Okay.
My girlfriend. She's shot in the head.
Your girlfriend shot in the head?
Yes. I just came to the room.
Who shot her? Do you know?
No, I know a few weeks ago she got her to sister and another girl next door to Siesta. But I don't know if it's that serious or not, or like that. I don't know what the complication was.
Alright, what room are you in, sir?
I'm in room 22.
Room 22, okay. Now listen, is she breathing?
No.
She's not breathing.
Oh.
What's your name, sir?
Brian Redding.
Brian Redding?
Yes, ma'am. Everybody knows she's my girlfriend. We was living together for the past 8 months.
All right, what's your girlfriend's name?
Cypress Noonan. Cypress Lee Noonan.
So, the next thing I want to talk about is domestic violence. There were people didn't want her in this relationship, which, we're finding out more and more wasn't so much a relationship as a predator. People didn't realize it was a relationship. People knew. I can't go into details. Court case still, case still going on, but when I share the articles after this, you're going to see She was killed in a hotel room by a girlfriend, was killed by her 32-year-old boyfriend in a hotel room. And it's going to be like, some people are going to look at it and go, oh my God, what about the mom and all that stuff. This is what I'm going to say about that. Her mom is an amazing mom. And it wasn't like, why wasn't the mom doing anything or anything like that? Not the case. There are police reports trying to get this fixed. South Carolina is funny about once you turn 16, first of all. Once you turn 16, they kind of don't think of you as a runaway anymore. You're kind of free to make your own decisions. There's this, we learned about it when we lived there, and you know, just because we heard about it from our friends' kids, and there's this whole thing about, you know, when you turn 16, you can leave your house, and it's fine. So that's part of it. The second part of it is there are predators out there, and predators are very good at what they do. Especially somebody that is that age. They have learned how to manipulate, and they have learned how to say what they need to say to get their prey to do exactly what they want them to do. So, in this case, we have learned that there are a few people that had little pieces of the puzzle, that there was something going on. Some of them were young, you know, 13 years old, let's say. Too young to either be bold enough to say something, which is completely understandable, or wasn't enough information. Sorry about that, dog's barking. Or wasn't enough information that, you know, it's kind of like, maybe I didn't really see what I think I saw, or something like that. But, you know, predators will do things like tell you that they will kill your family, kill your loved ones, do this, do that, to keep you where they want you. And then they will continue abusing you until it reaches the point that it reached with Cypress, with a bullet in your head. And it's very real. And you don't think that it is going to hit your family. I never thought for a second that it would hit our family. Because her mom is an amazing mom, and her mom does not take crap off of anything or anybody. Her mom is afraid of nobody and nothing. And nothing will stand in her way of protecting her children. But this person got by, and there was not enough time to save Cypress, because her mom was doing everything the right way. But predators will find a way through. So, if you see those warning signs, protect your loved ones. don't stop. And I'm not saying that her mom stopped, because her mom did not stop. Her mom just ran out of time. But don't stop. Don't give up. Keep pushing. And figure out, it's better. And I'm not saying that Cypress was ever mad at her mom either, so don't take this the wrong way. But it is better that a loved one is angry at you for getting them out of that situation at the moment and alive than you go through what we are going through right now. Because this friggin' sucks. And I would not wish this pain on my worst enemy. So, if the police are not listening to you, keep showing up there. If you have to come up with some reason, and I'm going to go back in my history here. Before I met my husband, I was in one of those relationships. I met a guy that was Prince Charming,